Good moves.
There you go.
All right, good morning. It's Bill Kanda, Board of Commissioners Chairman. This is Thursday, April the 10th, 2025. It's not 1925, but it could be. Sometimes it feels like it. Please silence your phones if you've got them. And we'll start this meeting. Call it to order now. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me to let us pray. We thank you for all our blessings, God. We ask that you please bless this meeting of the Board of Commissioners today. Strengthen us in wisdom, patience, kindness, goodness, so that we can solve the perplexities that we face today. We ask your blessing and love for all our citizens of this great county, and grant us the grace to ask what you would have us to do, and the spirit to not make false choices. And that in thy light we may see light as we convene this board to and for the service of our citizens of Custer County. Amen. All right, thank you. Roll call, Kelly.
Commissioner Kanda?
Here.
Commissioner Epp?
Present.
Commissioner Vogelsong?
Here.
County Attorney Dan Slater?
Here.
BOCC Admin Caitlin Womack?
Here.
And Clerk to the Board Kelly Camper present.
Hey, everybody's here. Howdy, it's introduction. Let's start with Ruth.
Ruth Bumper, Wetmore Fire.
Ruth Roper, Wetmore. Mark Grainer, Eagle Springs Ranch.
That's me. Custer County Administrator.
Got them all. And our admin down here.
I already said it.
I was on her roll call.
Oh, yeah, that was part of it. That was the way it should be. I'm glad you started doing that. All right. Any amendments, fellas?
None from me, sir.
Got anything?
No.
Okay. Approval of the minutes. We've been busy since the last meeting and had more meetings. So good job, Kelly, and I'm great that you got them all out as in the order they came out too. Good job. I move we accept the minutes.
I'll second that one.
And just for the clarity, that we have March 27th regular meeting and March 27th special meeting and an April 3rd special meeting of the Board of Commissioners. And that was because we were working on the issues at the Round Mountain sanitation. So. All in favor, say aye. Lucas?
Aye. Vogelsong, aye.
Kanda, aye. Commissioner items, Lucas.
Went to UCOG's meeting yesterday down in Kansas City. Max Hansen has resigned as the interim. He's gonna go work in Justin Kurth's position for Brittany Pedersen.
Really?
Justin Kurth is now gonna work for Wholesome down there as their public relations
Oh.
guys. So they're that's kind of both what they wanted to do, so they're kind of changing positions and going back into what they kind of had originally gone to college for, I guess, so.
Good.
So I think it'll be good. We appointed, as the UCOG board, we appointed Dave Paul. He's a previous Summit County Commissioner as the executive director, and made a contract out for till July 1st. And then he's rerunning, or he's gonna run again to be a commissioner for Summit County. So he's got a plan on kind of turning that around and getting their finances back in order. So that's kind of what's going on there. Other than that, I've asked Vernon to put an RFP together to go out for contracts, IT services, to see what we get there, so that we can make a decision on whether we want to go down that road or not. So he's putting that together for us, so we can go out for that.
I reviewed that last week.
Okay, and we've thought of some other things in the last few days, so we'll probably be making some changes again, so.
Okay, anything else?
So Chris Bryson is done the end of May.
Oh, yes.
So, we're looking at what we're gonna do with GIS, there as well.
Didn't realize he was coming up that quick.
So I think he just made that decision here, just in the
Week,
short
day, and two ago.
Jeez. In the past week, I think it was, so. We can go from there and decide what we wanna do with GIS and IT and all that as one big thing,
That'd
so.
be, yeah, something we've been thinking about.
Yeah, so it's kinda starting to come all together and come up with a plan there.
Good.
I reached out to both United Fleet Services and Enterprise, so they're both putting proposals together for us. I had that Enterprise was gonna come to a BOCC meeting, but I think we need to put that into a workshop, cause that could be an hour long
Yeah,
or more discussion, so if you wanna reach back out to Andrew, and then as soon as I get from Spencer with United, we'll set them two up for maybe back-to-back workshops, so they're not presenting in the same one, but just back-to-back,
Might you-
kinda like we do interviews.
For the record, so everybody, it's clear what this is about. It's about managing all our vehicles.
Yeah.
Explain.
Yeah, so we're curious as to see, I'm thinking most of this is just, they're gonna make their money off the interest, so, but I wanna see what that is and what that looks like and give us some options for when we budget for next year, so we'll see what they come up with, and if it looks, if they can come up with something, maybe, I don't know, we'll see what they come up with. We won't know until they show us. And
Right, what the
We
real
can-
deal is.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
Paul?
Announcement, we have a new employee that took over the 4-H coordinator position with UC Health Extension's office. They are currently at a training seminar at the moment, and name is Emily, and I believe she's going to be a very good asset in that office. And she came aboard Monday, so she's been here, and so, new employee. Other than that, we attended the, what was the name of the fire board we went to, anyway, and discussing, taking care of, it was a district, Lucas, what was the whole name of it, you know?
Oh, the CS, meeting we went to on Tuesday?
Yes,
Yeah, it's
I couldn't remember, it wouldn't let me log in. Anyway, so we discussed, the additional aircraft that's available for firefighting, and that was very informative. And it was just an open forum about ideas how to keep wildfires coming through our whole county. And so it was a very good meeting. Other than that, just normal business this week, and something I'm trying to do is get some options for our water treatment plant up there. We won't be in the situation we are in right now with it, so if you want any questions on that, just ask them or come by and bring you up to date. All I have.
Okay, good. Okay, good news, the TV is still working today, but bad news is they still don't understand why it's, Channel 11's turning itself off all the time up there, so.
Are we gonna get charged every time they go up there? 'Cause-
Well, part of it, we do, because it's, that's their process. But the warranty on the machine, the equipment should kick in, so we'll see what it does.
Okay,
Yeah, he did send a.
cause we got a pretty
Got
hefty
mileage,
bill.
yeah,
Yeah,
I saw that too.
yeah, I was wondering where my high school counselor was when I was looking for a future job. And I looked at the bill and the
Is
time.
to work for the in-air communications on all the stuff, they go up and down the front range doing all the repair on everything, so.
Yeah, I'm wondering why the TV station isn't, I mean, they're the ones that get free advertising,
Well,
we
see,
don't, or paid advertising, we don't get
We don't,
advertising.
that's right, and that was a deal they cut a long time ago. It's too bad FCC requires that they have to do it, and they snookered the county into doing it a long time ago.
Yeah, okay. Just wondered.
Yeah, that's something we're gonna have to keep doing. Also, we worked a lot on the sludge problem, this last week, and, something that, is worth paying attention to. Bob Cinderhoff, came up with a great idea, that he wants to share with us. So I'd like to get you and us together with Bob. He's talked to Paul separately, me separately already, and we need to get you involved.
Okay,
It has to do with, Round Mountain has the problem with the sludge. I'm not gonna get into those details, because everybody's pretty much familiar with it. They haven't cleaned the lagoons out since 1991, and it caught up with them. You know, the state was down on them to upgrade their plant. They couldn't afford to do it with, a normal plant, came up with new technology. It's not a risk, full scale, it's a risk, but it's not a heavy risk on whether it's gonna be successful or not, and the state's counting on it all being successful. So in that light, we bailed them out with $40,000 from the county, and Round Mountain came up with the other part to get the sludge moved out, and it was cheaper than it was proposed to be. Bottom line is, the citizens took a hold of it, and everybody has a dog in the fight. They really do. And so they're all willing to help, and Bob's got a great proposal to help raise the money, pay back the margin, the risk that we took on taking some of our money out, as well as Round Mountain back, and then additionally raise the money to help offset future problems that system may have, because it's that critical to the livelihood of our life here in the valley and in the county. So he was hoping to be down here today to present that. He got tied up last night, couldn't make it. So we'll get him to talk later. But let's meet with him if we can sometime, maybe on Friday with Dave together. Get the three of us. We got time to put a notice out that it'll be just a quick meeting with Commissioners Caitlin and on Friday.
On Friday?
Yeah.
I will not be here on Friday. I have appointments.
Okay, can we substitute Caitlin for you? Is that legal? Take notes.
I have to swear her in as my deputy.
Could you do that? For that meeting?
We'll discuss it.
Yeah, if you can't, then we'll,
we got legislative session all day Friday,
Yeah.
CCI,
oh,
so Friday is not gonna work.
well, we can look into it Monday. Possibly. Well, we'll talk about it.
Okay,
In the meantime, I'll ask Bob to talk to you by yourself.
okay,
That
If I
probably,
could
We can
add
do
on to
that.
that, the $40,000, we were at a hard deadline to be able to get this in a time limit to get it off the mountain and try to get Round Mountain up and running again full speed. And so that is why we had this special meetings. I had a couple questions this week about, well, why did you need special meetings? And I explained that, so I just want to put that out to you that it was a hard deadline and it had to be taken care of so they could go
Meet their
ahead and
schedule.
muster up all the transportation and everything to get the sludge out of it.
Dave,
Was this a loan, a grant,
by us?
$40,000?
No, it was a donation from the county because everybody, like I said, everybody contributed to the sludge over time, and it's critical that we get it fixed so that our businesses stay open. That impacts the county as well.
So
And so-
everybody in West Cliff and Silverwood.
They also are donating money too. As a matter of fact, Dave and I are going to the West Cliff Town Board meeting to get, and that's what we point out. You missed the meetings, but in the meetings, I made it very clear that the towns are culpable. Both of them should have been paying attention. Round Mountain is culpable because they should have been making sure the public knew. And even we could have been more cognizant of the issues and what they really were doing. Dave had his head down, but that's the past. So they're putting together a citizens, not a citizens group. Bob's proposal is very good, and I don't want to explain it right now, but we'll let him talk to everybody here, and we'll bring him into the next meeting. It's important to get it started sooner. That's why he wanted to do it quicker. Before everybody loses, they think the problem's solved and how people get, and they get lethargic about it. And I don't have the money to do it now. It's not, doesn't seem as quick to react as it did before, and so he doesn't want to lose momentum. That helped a little bit. Okay, and let's see, I think that's all I have for now, and I bet you $1.50 I'll think of something else later. Okay, let's move on. Attorney items, how about you, Dan? You've written all the resolutions you can possibly think of.
I reviewed all of the document retention policies that I can for a good year or so.
You got a good bankroll of them you can keep hold of for a future use. Okay, admin assistant, got anything, Caitlin?
I submitted the LATCF annual report, and the ARPA report just opened, so I'll get that submitted before the end of the month.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Can I just ask something else? I was in the
Uh,
Army for 24 years, so I know a lot of acronyms, new to this. So you guys are using a lot of acronyms, and I'm like, my eyes are spinning. So if you could just say what they are the first time you're gonna use each acronym, then you know what it is.
That's helpful.
Yeah,
So ARPA is the America Recovery Plan Act. That was the first round of COVID money that came from the federal government. And then LATCF is local and tribal conservation fund.
Fund.
And that was the second round of, and the final round of COVID
Free money.
that we got, so. Income tax money returned, I guess we could say it, because that's what pays into the federal, so.
Okay, good. All right, any unfinished business over here?
I don't think so.
Okay, new business, and we will allow comments. I'll keep them short, and if you get to repeat things, I'm gonna stop that, as we do normally. All right, accounts payable.
The five big ones, well, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 5 big ones I've been going through since last AP account. I'm just going through the big ones that are 5,000 and above. In the finance department, Redlands Accounting, travel and monthly charges for March 2025, $5,764.28. District Attorney, Office of the DA, 1/12 of the DA budget, for April 2025, $12,608.49. Self-insurance for buildings and grounds, the CAP program, or the CAP that we're part of, CTSI CAP, contributions for 2025 is $114,125. Self-insurance, buildings and grounds, Rainbow Collision and Auto Glass, it's for the road and bridge, water truck CTSI claim, for when it rolled on its side, $13,333.12. And then self-insurance, road and bridge, it's the 2025 CAP contribution or payment. It's the other $114,125.00. The two payments of $114,000 is that $228,500. That's our liability insurance for the year, and that always comes out March, April. So this is our payment on that. And later we'll have insurance fund allocation resolution to move money out of general fund into the insurance fund. Because we just haven't pulled in all the property tax money to fund that account yet, so. That's what I got on that. Otherwise, I make a motion to approve the AP in the amount of $310,132.19.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, any discussion? Or I noticed the treasurer had training. Didn't realize that for $1,800. Was that for a week? You know?
I don't know.
I don't know what it is. Just curious. All right, any public comment on that? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote to approve the AP report for what month is that? That would be the end of last month.
Well, it'd be for,
No, it's now, it's whatever the date was,
for the 10th,
10th,
4/9, basically.
April 4th.
That's when we processed the payments,
Payments
was
will be
yesterday.
processed, okay, for $310,132.19. All in favor, say aye. Paul?
Vogelsong, aye?
Lucas?
Aye.
And aye. Okay, good, thanks. Children's Health Fund Award, who's got that?
So I do, Sarah Bartleson received funding from the Children's Health Fund for the sports physicals. They got $5,000, and they've got lined up with a provider, to provide those, this coming, summer, fall. So it's just, I just need a motion to accept those funds and allows public health to use those for sports physicals,
To the tune of,
$5,000.
right. Okay.
I'll make that motion that we go ahead and put the $5,000 in for the sports physical. What number I should quote?
5,000.
Okay, you got it.
And I second. Any discussion more? Questions out here? That's a good thing. Remember back in the day, sports physicals, Dr. Dalby was in the Rock House. That's where we walked across the street from the high school, got our physical. Times have changed.
bit.
Didn't cost $5,000. All right, all in favor, say aye. Lucas?
Aye.
Vogelsong, aye?
And aye. Okay, next up.
The sheriff has asked, that we, make a proclamation, and I've seen other counties are doing this as well, for National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. I'll read through this. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services. And whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the FreeCom Emergency Communications Center. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety telecommunicators of FreeCom have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year. Therefore, be it proclaimed that the Custer County Board of County Commissioners declares the week of April 13th through the 19th, 2025 to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Custer County in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our city and citizens safe.
Okay, I move that we
Adopt. the
adopt a
proclamation.
proclamation. Is that the right term?
Yeah.
Make National Public Health, or Public Safety Communications Week, April 13 through 19, 2025. Second.
I'll second that motion that we accept the proclamation.
Okay, yeah, this is really kind of fortunate, I guess, that we're doing it right now. There's a good example of what happened just recently on the fire that happened in Boneyard Park, basically.
On Sunday night.
And it was unique because Paul got his new radio for some reason, because he can't be gotten a hold of where he is. He's in a hole, and other new radios are in the works and all that kind of thing. And if it hadn't have been for that, all of a sudden the fire responded. Paul was out there guiding traffic because he had his radio and knew about it and was the old guy on the scene with him. The fire chief had to make a call to get some help out of Cotopaxi, just in case. It occurred in a trailer out there in a home that was pretty rugged. It had a bunch of tires, the tire deal to warm them up, and they had a lot of junk around. a lot of brush out there, and guess what? It didn't spread, didn't go anywhere, and they got it out. What was the timeline, Paul?
The actual fire, I seen the truck go by and turn on the radio and started monitoring, and they needed water tankers. So we had 5 fire trucks and 4 water tankers, which is like road and bridge tankers, 3,000 gallons. And the fire was really amazing. And just prior to the fire breaking out, we had winds of about 20 miles an hour. And just before the fire broke out, it dropped down to about 5.
Because this is at 5:30 in the evening.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it was still daylight. Fire crews were on site till midnight, looking for hot spots and everything. They also put spotters out on each of the hillsides to make sure that, because it's a valley right there, if you're not familiar with it, with Flower Road. And other than that, got a hold of the fire chief on Monday morning after visiting the property myself, and there was a few smoldering smoke areas. And fire chief already had a dispatch ready to go out there and do a mop up again to make sure there wasn't any hot spots. So,
Telecommunications matter.
it does.
It helps.
And there is no phone service out there, cellular, in that valley. So, FreeCom, the comm center was asking for phone verifications for the Red Cross and things like that. And it wasn't happening until you go halfway out to the highway and, or come by my house. So anyway, that was a wrap up of that. The owner plus the son and his wife are being assisted by
Red-
family services currently. And other than that, I haven't been briefed on it lately.
They lost one cat or something, I guess.
He ran away, I understand.
Oh, okay, didn't die in the fire. All right. Good deal to do, and if there's any other comments out here on this?
I don't know if it matters, but FreeCon is misspelled in the proclamation. I think there's one.
That is true.
Yeah, we can fix that before we sign it.
And there's not an attestation on it. For me.
Oh, yeah, you need it.
Yeah, it should be.
Who did this? It wasn't you, Paul, or
Nope.
Dan, was it?
No, it was a sample one that
that we had, so.
Oh,
filled
really?
in.
Free
so.
just should be it'd be
It's
like
just
free
FRE,
com spelled
FRE sealed in.
It's not free.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's definitely not free.
Cost
Bill, is there a
us.
difference between police and sheriff's department too? Because we don't have police, we have sheriff's department.
I think they use that synonymously, is what they've done,
Everybody else is getting taken.
right? Nice job. Okay, any other comments? Any online? We have anybody online?
Yeah, we got 6 online.
Okay, good. All right, all in favor then, I'll call for the vote. Say aye. Lucas? Aye.
Vogel song aye.
Kandai. Okay, next up, looks like you're up, Bob, on Department of Human Services contract for services agreement.
Workers' comp. and-
Oh, I'm sorry, I had circled that one, I'm sorry. Request for proposal on workman's comp, go ahead.
Correct.
Here, there,
Just mayor, people can hear you and it can be picked up on the recording.
Speak up though for the owl.
All right, so a couple meetings ago, the board discussed the possibility of wanting to go out to bid for the county's workers' compensation insurance, as well as medical, dental, vision, and life for the benefits. So what you have in front of you is an RFP to do that, exactly. Couple introduction comments. I found records indicating that the county bid out our employee benefits package in 2017 and 18. I found some records. As well as I can tell, at that time, we were with CEBT for medical, for those benefits. And then we transitioned to CTSI, I think right around in there from what I can best tell. RFP process, step 1 is the RFP is publicly posted, put on the county's website, sent out to the public newspapers and such, and then I'll send it out to potentially interested brokers and advisors. Some of them I've had experience with in the past before here, as well as others that I'm just professionally know of. Second step is collect and evaluate the RFPs, select a broker and advisor who then leverages their experience and relationships with benefit providers to market our benefits portfolio and workers' compensation. Then step 3 is work with the broker and advisor to evaluate the responses from the benefit providers, select a vendor, and help create vendor contracts. Then with them is also a long-term use so that they can help market or work on our behalf at renewals to help hold down costs, use their knowledge of the market and what's going on. And if we want, we can use them to continue to look for the market and use their internal staff to evaluate claims and kind of help ongoing management of those pieces. If the board would decide to change our workers' compensation or benefits providers, we must give CTS a written notice by October 1st. That's in the plan agreement, their bylaws that we have with them. What you have is the RFP that would go to the brokers, and from that we would select them, a broker or brokers as an example. In the RFP, I asked them to identify those markets or providers that they would like to have good relationships with and identify them. So if I have two of them that want to, let's say, workers' comp. If one wants to go to CTSI, Pinnacle, and then somebody else wants to go with a different workers' comp provider, that I can say, we'll take both of you, but you each do your own markets. Keep the best results we can. Just to get the spread out as far as we can, just as an example.
So, just a quick question then. We've never done this before. We've just always rolled with CTSI, is that
Correct.
what I'm hearing?
Prior to 2017 and 18, I did find records where it was Hobby went and I found her spreadsheets were similar to what I've seen before, where the different providers and brokers gave their potential types of plans. So my assumption is they did something similar to this, whether it was an RFP or not. So I don't know, but at that time, we were with CEBT, who I've had plans with. I think they're still in business. Went to CTSI, and then now we're doing the same thing with CTSI to see. The whole purpose of what we're doing is not saying we're unhappy with CTSI, but
See if there's something cheaper.
It's just, are we doing good by the taxpayer money? Can we get equal or better coverages and save money for the taxpayer?
And how much are we paying the consultant?
Right, and that question is in the RFP, is for them to disclose. There's different ways they can charge, and I've put in there that you need to charge on a fee base, and what is it your fee, and what is it based on, and that's three upfront as well.
Well, that's important on how we select it, because that
Right,
adds to the cost we have to
exactly.
pay for the insurance anyway. So
Right, and
Is
then
it- is
with
that
their
worth
help,
it?
put together the RFP that they send out, because there's things I want to be in that RFP to make sure that we're getting equal or similar coverages, so that if we're losing something with CTSI, like CTSI pays for DOT physicals. So is there a cost for that with a new policy? It's not
Yeah, I have
expensive, it's not
I've-
expensive coverage, but I want to make sure.
One other question, and we'll get others here too, I'm sure.
Uh-huh.
You've done this before in other jobs that you've had.
Many times.
Have you found that it was cost effective? Did it pay for the consultant?
Yes. The most I've saved is $250,000 in doing this.
Okay, did that depend on how many claims are turned in? If no claims are turned in,
No, that's,
Way money ahead.
for that employer, that was the total savings to the budget.
So what I don't like about CTSI right in this moment is they don't come and they don't audit us and go, hey, if you would reduce this and reduce this and do this better, your claims are gonna, your premiums are gonna go down. We get no help from them. So that is first and foremost, is they have to work for us to reduce our premiums.
they help us
If they're
spend
not
our
willing to
money,
do
don't they?
that, I don't wanna talk to them.
Yeah.
Because they should be helping us reduce our premiums. So if that means they need to come and they need to report and say, you guys need to figure out how to drive a vehicle, that's what it needs to be. But we need to know that information.
So in the RFP, that goes with it, I have a questionnaire,
Mhm.
like, that they each respondent has to fill out, it's like 12 questions, 12, 13. One of them is, it talks about the need to reduce costs and how will you, as a broker, help us do that with renewals and help audit claims and certain things. Now, from a claims management position, we are not allowed to see individual claims, that's a HIPAA violation, but we can see trends of types of claims and that type of stuff, so they can interact with Blue Cross Blue Shield, as an example, on our behalf to find ways to hold down costs. And so by using a broker, it helps insulate us from HIPAA violations and getting information about individual employee or dependents' claims that we are not allowed to see.
Mhm.
But that's part of the broker relationship, is to help us do just that. I would, just as a comment, this process does not impact our insurance policy on property and liability insurance with CTSI.
Right.
That's a separate
Yeah.
policy. This only impacts or works with our workers' comp policies and benefits, medical, dental, vision, and life. So they're all separate policies in our relationship with CTSI.
And I get that we can't, health insurance is a little different situation, but workman's comp claims, we definitely should be able to manage
Oh, yeah.
those all the way through from near miss to,
Oh, yeah. You can see,
yeah.
you can see frequent people who have frequent injuries. You can dig down and find related associations, higher departments. There's a lot of trending that can be done that they, depending on the provider, can give us or through the broker. That's why having that broker relationship is very helpful.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I think you answered this. Tell Dave what CTSI stands for.
County Technical Services, Inc., they're a pool of all the counties in Colorado, not all of them.
I think it's nearly all of them now.
Well,
A lot of counties are dropping them.
Yeah,
and they only go to, they won't take like Denver, Broomfield, city and counties because their size. They won't extend that type of, it's just too
Too much.
expensive.
Okay, the reason I brought that up is
Right.
because we pay a lot of money just to be part of that, to
Right.
help self-insure us. Do they need our money to manage this program
Right,
is
so
an issue.
because we're a pool, they're a pool,
Mhm.
for all of those that I mentioned, our monies, I don't know how to say this. Our premiums go into a pool and then out of that the claims are paid. And our ratings, our loss control ratings, our costs are associated to the losses of the pool in general. So the more losses the pool has, then those
Costs go up.
costs go up. As a general, that's how pools work.
Mhm.
You know, there's fully funded, partially self-funded, there's all kinds of options, which I can talk to the board about when we get farther down the road.
Okay, all right, we need a motion, we'll discuss it further, or we'll not do it. Got a motion?
I'll make a motion that we go out for proposal for workmen's compensation and employee benefits, get numbers.
Wilson, second that motion that we do go ahead and proceed with
Proposal, okay.
the proposal. Yeah. Good thing.
All right, any other discussion up here?
None for
Okay, go ahead.
So 3 questions. By approving this motion to go out for proposals, you're not committing to spending that money with
No.
the consultants?
We gotta see what we get first.
The RFP
Okay.
is
Compete it.
specifically written to say we're not committed to doing anything.
Okay, and then my second question is, I was at the school board meeting, it's been a blur, a night or 2 ago, and they recently changed their broker of record, well, in the meeting the other night, they changed their broker of record from Pinnacle Workman's Comp policy to Ascentus Insurance. So one, I'm wondering if at some point in time, it would behoove you to talk to Charlotte Lindemann, who presented this thing, to just find out maybe a little bit about what their process was. And the reason that I mention that is that if it's another option, if we can piggyback on what they found out, and it's another option rather than using a broker, if they've already gone through that process, if there's any similarity, what can we learn from that? And then my third point is, it's been 25 years since I was a managed care information analyst in the insurance industry, specifically work comp. And Lucas, to your point, I did exactly what you said. I was the one that generated the reports and did the analysis to find out, what can we do to cut down on work comp claim. I also have to say, after 14 years in that business, I said, I'm getting out of this, because I said.
You're not volunteering, is that what you're saying right now?
No, I'm saying I got out of the insurance industry because I didn't want to be part of the problem anymore. I wanted to be part of the solution. And seeing that little Johnny didn't get an MRI, he only got an X-ray, I did an X-ray that didn't make me out feel real good. But to your point, the insurance companies were the ones 25 years ago, okay, so I acknowledge that. The insurance companies were the ones that did the analysis, for the trends and whatnot. So just information.
There's a type of policy that can be done where that type of work is not controlled by the insurance company, but is controlled by the employer, a partially self-funded plan. It's a different, basically the savings that the insurance companies recoup because of that is recouped by the employer. And I can talk about that as we get farther down the process as a way to save.
Okay,
Wetmore Fire is not.
state your name so Kelly can
Yeah.
hear.
Oh, okay, Ruth Roper with Wetmore Fire. We have Pinnacle Assurance, and my complaint is, we're not covered by you guys. We're volunteer fire, you do not pay our workman's comp, we pay it. We have to gather funds through grants, spirit campaign, whatever, to keep us afloat because we are not a fire district. Pinnacle Assurance is very expensive, we've never had a claim, and I am in the process of trying to find somebody new for us to go under because we're paying out all this money and we've never had a claim. We try to be safe. And it's just, our insurances this year have, gone so high between our vehicles, the building and our workman's comp. That's the majority of our output.
Yeah. Okay, good comment. Any other comments? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of, state it the way it is here. Accepting and authorizing Bob to go out with an RFP for workman's comp and employee benefits as presented. Say aye, Lucas.
Aye.
Vogelsong, aye?
Can I?
Yeah.
We'll go
Good
see
work,
what
Al.
we can find.
Good work.
I thank Dan for reading through that and through the request for the records retention. It was a lot of
You,
work.
do you have a deadline on when you're gonna get them back and work it? What's the
I
timeframe?
have one in mind. Before I did all that, I wanted to have you approve it. And so today or tomorrow, I will drop those dates in and get that out to everybody.
So when will it be advantageous to have this broker is why I'm trying to.
Yeah, I wanna get it
Wanna
back
get him here
within a
on time
month.
to do a
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, within a month.
But we're up against the October 1st deadline.
Right.
Okay,
That would be my hope.
okay. Good. All right, you up again?
At the end.
Did, Dan, did you see this contract?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right, so next up on the agenda is the contract for Human Services Agreement. So, Lucas, you heard, is it, you got an input on this one?
So because we don't have current APS and CPS caseworkers, this is an agreement between Custer County and Wolfeno County, Dreama Ortiz, to be the supervisor and to be our APS, CPS caseworker.
For how long?
Until April 10th, 2026.
Okay.
To be clear, Wetmore is not a party to this contract, it's just with this.
Oh, it's just with the lady from Huffernoo
Yeah,
County.
she's from Wetmore,
Okay.
it's not a contract with.
Very
So
true.
we're hiring a separate person, doesn't matter who she is, as a part-time, or is this gonna be full-time caseworker?
She would be an independent contractor. And she would, do the job of the supervisor for child welfare and adult protection. I have some question as to how that would work if we ever do hire the caseworker position that's been open, I think, for at least half a year now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how we could have an independent contractor supervise an employee. That may be something we have to look at when and if we hire that.
It's
that other
possible, I
position.
guess you'd have to have it in this.
But for now, I've reviewed the contract, I don't have a problem with the contract as it is for now.
Would she be here in person, or is it going?
I wasn't involved in the retention of this
You know.
person.
In talking with Vicky, that person would be here on site. She would drive here, do her thing, get county vehicle, go out and do.
X days a week or as required?
As required, we can't mandate that she, in fact, the contract specifically says
As you can correctly.
Okay.
we aren't mandating a number of hours per week or month that she has to work. If we started to get into that kind of thing, that's where we run into a problem with her being an independent contractor versus an employee.
Sure, and that could cost more than a normal employee.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
I have one, what about the operation of a county vehicle as a contractor, is that,
Insurance
be
follows
added
the
to-
vehicle.
say again?
If we allow her, give her permission to use the vehicle, coverage is there, insurance follows the vehicle. We're saying here, you can use it, it's by permission, so the insurance is there. I called CTSI to talk through, is there any concerns or issues with 1099 employee as a contract on liability coverage, vehicle usage, and all that. The only thing they won't extend is workers' comp. And we can't, nope, we
Right,
can't
because
do
she's a
that
private
because it's a 1099 contract.
And I was just worried about the vehicle.
And the contract doesn't mention the vehicle, just for the record.
Yeah.
The only, I think, county, property that is mentioned in here is the on-call phone, essentially.
Okay, it does mention that we're gonna pay $3,800 a month, so how does that work with vital workload? Is she limited to $3,800?
If in theory, it's a flat fee. If for some reason we have a glut of child protection concerns that requires her to be here 40 hours every week, it's still $3,800 a month. If we don't, and she only has to work 10 hours a week, which I find surprising, But if that were the case, she would still get 30 under the month.
Mhm.
It doesn't specifically call out the vehicle, but it does says provide all material supplies and equipment necessary to carry out the elements of the work listed.
Right.
I was just concerned about the insurance coverage.
My conversation with Vicky yesterday, she mentioned that she would come up in her own car and take the county vehicle to do her work, site visits or whatever in a county vehicle.
Yep, and DHS has a vehicle for that purpose.
Okay, so we haven't been able to hire one so far. Have they been advertising, Bob?
Well, this is for the casework supervisor.
Hmm.
That one has just posted yesterday, day before. The one that Jen was talking about is a case worker, APS and child protection case worker. That was Alexandria's position. So that's been posted. That's
Now.
what he was referring to.
Yeah.
I think, was it August?
Yeah. It's been posted for a while. Had one apply and was interviewed by Laura and Alexis, and they chose not to hire this person.
Okay.
One other question on the vehicle again, could that be covered with a letter of understanding, driving vehicles, or does it have to be in the contract?
It doesn't have to be in the contract, no.
Doesn't have.
But the contract does say that we provide the automotive insurance.
Thank you.
So.
Insurance follows, insurance follows the vehicle.
Well, I don't know how to move this, but we do need to move on, so I move that we accept the, request for a contract for a services agreement for human services as discussed right now.
I'll second.
Okay, any other discussion here? Questions out here? Any questions online, Caitlin?
No.
Okay, all in favor of accepting the contract for services agreement for human services, say aye. Paul?
Vogelson, aye?
Lucas?
Aye.
Aye, Kanda. Okay. Got that out right. Okay, we need to rescind 2509 Forest Restoration and Wildfire Resiliency Grant Match.
Okay, this is the resolution of supplemental budget and appropriation. We passed this, unfortunately, a couple months ago. We needed to move the full amount, not just the half that we are paying towards the chipper, but the full amount, and then, which was 99,000 basically. So, this is to rescind that motion, or that resolution 2509, so that 49,500 isn't transferred. So I'll make a motion to rescind resolution number 25-09.
Second?
I'll second that resolution number 25-09. Vogelson?
Okay, any discussion, comments?
So why are you rescinding money for a chipper?
So we moved, I think it was last meeting, we moved to transfer the full 100,000 or the full $99,000 to cover the whole price of the chipper. Half of it's reimbursable through a grant. So this clears that up and makes it clear instead of, so we had to rescind this one, or we'd be transferring 150,000, so that's why.
All right, any other questions on that? Dave, good? Okay, all in favor of rescinding resolution 2509, say aye. Lucas?
Aye.
Paul?
Vogelson, aye?
Can I? Okay, next up. This would be Resolution 2522, Sheriff's Office, School Resource Officer.
So this was money that that we hadn't gotten reimbursed from the state. So we're finally transferring this from the general fund into the specific accounts within the sheriff's office budget. 14,000 is going into the school resource officer training. We have a new school resource officer now. And then, let's see here, I've got a 10,210, so the rest of the 24,210 is going for the purpose of vehicle upfitting for the purpose of the school resource officer. So a total of 24,210 will be transferred from general fund into the specific accounts within the sheriff's office budget.
Okay, I'll move that we accept the resolution or adopt resolution number 25-22, resolution for supplemental budget and appropriation to defray sums of expenses in excess of amounts budgeted for Custer County, Colorado, as presented. Second.
I'll second that motion, resolution 25-22.
Okay, this is for $24,210. And any questions out here?
What did they expect to use the 24,000 for? I heard something about like
14,000 is going for school resource officer training,
training, okay.
and 10,210 is going into vehicle upfitting for the purpose of school resource officer duty training, or duty. So I think what they're doing is this, the sheriff's gone out to the school. The kids are gonna design a wrap to go on a vehicle that they've got that they're gonna use for the school resource officer. So it's, so this is to fund some of that money.
So $10,000 for a wrap?
It's wrap, it's gonna go for radios. This vehicle isn't outfitted at all with lights or push bar or running boards. It's,
And the vehicle that they've been using doesn't serve
so
that
the
purpose
vehicle
anymore?
that they've been using is, one of the older Dodge Durangos that they wanna move down to Posse, so they can get rid of 3 of the old Posse vehicles that are gonna be used in the county elsewhere.
And that's just an outfitting cost.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Move it over.
I was
Okay, any other
thinking
questions?
that way.
Anything online, Caitlin? Okay, I'll call for the vote to adopt resolution number 2522, resolution for supplemental budget and appropriation. All in favor, say aye. Lucas?
Aye.
Volos aye.
Kandai, thanks. You want me to sign this one, Kelly, or you got a copy?
I've got one.
Okay. Sign that one in a minute. Okay, next up, resolution number 2526, Sheriff's Office Dive Team.
So this is, Custer County Sheriff's Office has been charged with the safety of the citizens of Custer County and has obligated donation funds. 1,300 will be transferred from the general fund balance. So everything that's donated, everything that we bring into the county gets dropped into the general fund, and then we appropriate it elsewhere. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Custer County, Colorado, that the 2025 appropriation for account 505, Sheriff's Office Admin Dive Team Ops be increased to 1,300 for the purpose of dive team operations. So this was specifically obligated donated funds, so they're restricted to that purpose. And this resolution is just moving that money into the appropriate fund.
So it can be taken out. Okay, you got a motion for it?
I'll make a motion that we accept resolution number 25-26 for the appropriated amount of $1,300.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution 2526, resolution for supplemental budget and appropriations as presented. Any questions? Any issues? Okay, Paul for the vote. All in favor of adopting resolution 2526, say aye. Paul?
Vogelsong, aye.
Lucas?
Aye.
Kanda, aye. Next out of the chute, 2527. This is a resolution appropriating additional sums of money to defray expenses in excess of amounts budgeted for Custer County.
So resolution number 2527, a resolution appropriating additional sums of money to defray expenses in excess of amounts budgeted for Custer County. Custer County Veterans Service Office has the duty to serve the veterans of Custer County. $500 will be appropriated from the fund balance of the general fund. 2025 appropriation of $500 will be made from the fund balance of the general fund into the designated VSO communications line for the purposes of a cell phone for the VSO assistant. We're starting to realize the call log, and part of this is both getting away from the hard lines that we have in the office and going to more cell phones. Allows us to stay in better contact with our veterans. We're also starting to see an increased calls from Fremont County. Our VSO is going to be talking to their county commissioners. We probably need to do the same. They're down to one VSO in Fremont County, and they've got a population of 50,000 people, and I don't know what their number of veterans are, but definitely higher than what we have. So our call volume is starting to go up, so this is just to kind of help them out and get his assistant a cell phone.
Yeah, the call, it's definitely needed, I think. Okay, you got a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept resolution number 2527 for the amount of $500 VSO.
I'll second that one. Any other discussion here? Any questions out there?
So we're doing this to help out Fremont County. Why don't they pay for it?
It's probably something we need to talk to Fremont about.
We can ask Fremont County to help. Primarily, they support us, but that is what Dominic, he started off and everybody in the world bombarded on him because he's so good at doing what he does. But since then, he's scaled back. He stopped accepting more people in Fremont County and others as well, so.
We're only doing the counties that border us now. We don't take any out of state. We don't. But he just commented the other day that Fremont counties are starting to ramp up now again.
Yeah.
So it's a discussion we definitely need to have.
And
with
it wouldn't
Fremont
hurt to ask for some funds from all of those other counties.
To be clear, the money is not just because we're helping out.
No,
counties.
no.
The money is because we have an assistant that doesn't have a cell phone and.
That is multi-purpose, not just Fremont County.
Absolutely.
That was my point. Okay, I'll call for the vote for adopting resolution number 2527. Supplemental money for $500 for VSO cell phone assistance, I should say. All in favor, say aye. Lucas.
Aye.
Vogelsong, aye.
Kanda, aye. Okay, you want your blue. Okay, did you get a new 27? Okay, next out of the chute is 2528, resolution 2528. A resolution transferring sums of money in excess of amounts budgeted for Custer County. And this is for, which is operational transfer of $120,000 out of the general fund into a self-insurance fund. Lucas, you want to take that on?
That a 2025 operational transfer of $120,000 from the general fund be made into the self-insurance fund, that this operational transfer be made to increase the fund balance So we're not in a negative now that we've made, now we're gonna make this $228,000 payment to our liability insurance. And it's made to increase the fund balance while the property taxes are collected. So we haven't collected all the tax for this year. So this will supplement that until we do collect the tax, so.
Okay, any discussion on, no, we got, we said we don't need to do it. I move that we adopt resolution 2528. Sums of money to transfer $120,000 from general fund to the self-insurance fund. Any discussion? Any other? Need a second?
I'll second.
Any other points? All in favor, I'm gonna call for the vote for resolution number 2528. All in favor, say aye. And Lucas?
Aye.
Roll the song, aye?
And aye. The 28. Second, Paul. Okay, last but not least, a resolution 2529, record retention policies up for discussion. And you want to talk about it, Bob, first?
So you have a records retention policy, one that the county has not had a formal policy. You have it for two reasons. One is that we don't have one. Kelly, I know, has had discussions with her and expressed interest for some time about having something. Two, the grant for emergency operations, one of their grants in the audit documents state they want to see their county's records retention policy as part of the grant requirements. And so it just, those two purposes, Roman's put together and for your review and consideration.
So this is just one of many policies that the county has never had that we need to adopt, and we need to establishes the guidelines for how we conduct business.
And I did send it to Dan for his review, and I think, Dan, there's like 99 pages of the thing.
Well, it's now 104.
So I think, Dan, it's a lot of work.
It's been a couple hours at least on this.
The first vision of that, I had quite a bit of difficult time with the formatting and getting it to be editable. So we went with a different way of doing it, and so this is the second run at that.
Okay, so what we're approving or adopting is the requirement to do it. We haven't seen the data yet.
You've got the policy in your.
We got the packet, but
Right.
but we haven't had, do we want to adopt it before we review it, is my question, because to make sure that we've got everything in there, I mean, how do we vet it?
Well,
Can I say something?
Sure.
So, I think it needs to go out to all of the people
I
who
do
are
too.
included in it. I looked at it last night after it came out in the board packet. My stuff as county clerk was right, but some of the stuff as, that I do as clerk to the board is wrong. And, I think that it needs to go out to everybody so they can review their portion, so that because a lot of us, we have a retention stuff by statute, and if it's not right, it's,
So
and I think there's a few things in here. I mean, there was a county, there's a retention schedule for a county administrator, which you guys don't want.
That's why I brought it up for, because it should be vetted across everything, and it's our policy to adopt. We can adopt a resolution saying we want to have a policy, which
So this one came from Fremont County.
I know.
As far as, I don't have any issues with what you're discussing. The timing schedule, unfortunately, because Robin has her audit the 14th or
30th.
of this month. And the first letter she received talked about it, and so I've been working with her to get something like this. So I don't know how you wanna handle it.
Well,
If you want to,
It's
Approve
required
it?
by which grant of hers?
So
you can approve it, and for that purpose, send and work with, I can send it back out, do what you're talking about, which is a good idea, and then come back with revisions. So I don't know how to get to where you're talking about and still meet the requirements for her audit.
Yeah, but her crisis isn't mine. That's too bad.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm
So,
just pointing out the
that's-
facts.
That's just a fact, and if we don't have a policy we've adopted and spent real time doing it right, I don't wanna send it out.
So,
I had thought if this had gone through the various department heads and electeds, that was my suggestion when this first came to me. That need to go to all the different
Right.
departments.
And I'm,
I'm not I think it's a
and I
good
don't
idea.
know, I don't have enough, if she doesn't do it, does the sky fall in and she loses her whole department? What's?
I can't answer the results of a
I'm sure
finding
that's not the
against
case.
her audit from the state. I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay,
I just know that she requested it be done by her audit.
so let's back up. This is gonna be a living document. This document is
Right.
gonna change on a yearly basis. It's something we're gonna have to review yearly as Colorado revised statutes, federal requirements change. So this document's always gonna be changing. So if we don't adopt this and we just continue to wait for changes to come because we know they're gonna come,
Yeah.
we're gonna be stuck. But this isn't
no, I get that.
Robin's crisis. This is, we've got federal and state agencies going, you should have had this a long time ago to apply for grants. We've never had it. We need to move forward with something and get something going.
I agree.
And we correct things as we go. That it hasn't gone out to everybody, yeah, I'll take the shame there.
No, I'm not always trying to blame anybody,
But we need to move forward.
You're correct, but, we haven't had it so far, and if it takes another week to circulate it, Lucas, I think that's fair.
Well, Bill, I don't know where you've been, but I've been looking at it.
No, I saw it, that's why
So
I'm asking the question. Is it, to me,
I can't tell you
do we know timing wise what her issue is?
I think the drop deadline, I believe, is the 30th, but I think there's another for somewhere earlier.
It is requested that we get, all of the documentation for the audit to them by the 16th
Yes.
is their date, and then their on-site visit is the 30th.
Thank you, yes.
Sure.
So I can't answer what happens, what if? I don't know that answer. I just know Robin has asked for help in pulling documents together for the audit, some are her responsibility within her scope, others not so much.
Right.
Such, like the ones I brought to you before.
No, and Lucas, as you've pointed out, and we have before, we haven't had policies on a lot of things. And this is a good one that we definitely need to have, and it's the right thing to do. I don't know, to me, it's a draft.
Well, if you wanna
That would be.
push it off till a couple weeks and put it down for the last meeting, on the 24th. I
Is
guess
it-
we'll still meet the 30th.
If there's,
What they can look at is a draft, that we've considered it, I mean, we're working this, let them see the draft that we're pushing through.
whatever you would like.
Well, no, if the in-person audit is until the 30th, then we can consider this on the 24th, even though the document deadline is the 16th. I mean, they can come in on the 30th and say, we didn't get this document, and Robert can pull it out and say, well, we have it now. and
Or they
continue
can
with
give
your
them the
offer.
draft and say, we got the draft, is this still, well, whatever, they can take a look at something. It's up to them or her.
But I think giving the elected officials and department heads a little less than 2 weeks to review this and suggest changes.
Well, you know,
That would
that
be
would be
reasonable.
pretty, I think it is, look what Kelly did overnight, or whenever you got it last, and you took a quick look.
I have a question for Kelly. Is that taking into consideration different departments that have different retention longevity there? Or some of them have 5 years, some have 3, whatever, does that need to be in there also?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, is that every department is different, and I'm sure that Fremont County has it 99% correct, but just like the few mistakes that I found, I think, that's why I think everybody needs to look at it, because if it's
Are
not,
most of those that timeline, or
Yeah, we can-
yes, timeline.
And I wanted to also address the county administrator thing. I noticed that too, but I left that in there because technically we had a county administrator for a period of time. And so technically there are county administrator records, in theory, at least theory. So that's why I left the county administrator records in there as a policy.
Well, normally in organizations, you have a document that's staffed to each department, that same document. Not, you know, when you shotgun out to all the departments separately, then, you know, some things that Kelly looked at could apply and they could go, I mean, that's how you would normally do it. That's what I'd like to see done here, but we get it done quicker. Get a hard copy, run it through each office and give them a day to look at it, or 2 days, and staff it like we should, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't take long, you just
Yeah.
gotta make sure
So,
everybody's
and we
perfect.
could get Caitlin to put the package there, get a staffing sheet on it with each department so they can check it off and hand it to the,
That's not Caitlin's job.
Caitlin.
That's
or
HR's
Bob,
job.
that would probably, that's fine.
And again,
Yeah, that's a good point.
I can't, it's to you now as a attempt, it's been an attempt to get it, so
Well,
Robin
but-
can meet her grant
No, I
obligation.
didn't. When did you find out about that?
Well, when I started working on her letter of whatever, corrected whatever for her grant, and it's when all the other stuff I brought you, the whistleblower policy and all that, that's when I started working on those.
All right,
The first round of this I had, but I couldn't work with the formatting. I had Kelly look at it, I had help with IT, I spent probably a week or more trying to,
Okay.
so we scrapped it and started again.
well, look, I don't know who, if somebody's gonna come up and want the commission, the board to sign something official, then it ought to be staffed through the appropriate organizations. So and then that's just something way we can clean up how we do business better. So, can you do that, Bob? And let's
Yeah,
get it done
no
before, give it a week or so, and get it done, and get it in for the next meeting. To approve and adopt that document, which can be changed, you know, it can be updated as time goes on,
We
of
could
course.
amend
Get amended on. So go ahead.
do that. Yeah, my question to Dan is, can it be amended by the
Sure.
time restrictions that are for different departments without completely redoing the rules?
Well, that's what,
No, I mean, it would be essentially what we do whenever we amend any policy, is we
Yeah,
say, you know, section whatever of
Sure.
this policy is amended to read blah, blah, blah. We don't have to say, oh, here, and we're readopting.
you can adopt the change pages or
Right.
approve the change pages. And then if it gets too many change pages, you rewrite the document. That's what I've seen.
Yeah, you can,
And adopt a new document.
what I think I hear you saying, or Dan saying, is you can adopt it now with the option of adopting changes as I go out and get input, or you can wait and try and get the input and all that stuff and back to you by a certain date. It's up to you. It really doesn't matter to me. Whatever you would like to do. Again, the target
Let's
date-
start fresh. Doc, run it through first. My choice would be to do it and come back on the next meeting and we'll adopt it and then we can keep updating it from there forward.
Whatever the board chooses.
My choice.
So what's your motion?
I move we table this to the next meeting to allow you to go do the change page or staff it.
There's
That-
not a motion on the floor at this point.
Right, so,
So you're not really tabling.
well, I'm not tabling anything. That's right. We're not tabling a motion. But good point. Let's just go back to the
Without a
vote.
motion, you just move on to the next.
Let's go on
agenda
and
item.
let's staff it and bring it up.
No worries.
Okay?
I'll let Robin know.
Is there an opportunity for general discussion?
Not really, but if you want to make a comment, Kathy, go ahead. I'll allow you to do that. If you got a point.
And I really do appreciate that, because what I wanted to bring up is, I want to respect what you have emphasized in the past about not debating issues.
Mhm.
So I'm not debating, but what I'm hearing, sitting back here, is two of the commissioners, Commissioner Epp and Commissioner Vogelsong, talk about opportunities for, as Bob explained, going ahead and adopting it as it is now. Commissioner Vogelsong has asked about dates and timing. Go ahead. Sounds like you know what I'm gonna say.
Sure, no, I get you. But nobody made a motion. If you want to do that, we can. But I personally, I've made my statement and that's, I think we need to be professionally doing things and we can adopt it and professionally go rechange it if we want to, I guess.
So my perception is that, and cut me off anytime if I'm making it sound like too much debate, I respect that, just wanna let you know that. So my perspective is that you're making a decision for all three commissioners.
I made a statement that I prefer to do that and I want to see that done. That would be my druthers to do it professionally, do it right, get a process in that we can all get behind and that's staffing, do the staff work and staff it to each organization rather than shooting out emails that people sometimes don't see or get.
Right.
Especially on something that was brought to us to adopt. This is an official adopting this resolution the way it's written. And I don't personally think, I don't think we should do that. I know it's Fremont County and they didn't do things professionally and all that, but some of this doesn't apply and Kelly pointed some of that out. So I'd prefer to let it drop. And I can do that if I don't get another motion. And we can vote on it officially and then decide. But I think we should move ahead. Okay? Thanks. All right, any other items to bring up? Lucas, you got anything?
No.
Paul?
No.
Okay, public comment. Anybody out here? Yeah.
I've got two emails that people want read into the record.
Okay,
This is from Lenarigo. Dear Sears, I see that today's meeting agenda will be addressing Resolution 25-29 Records Retention Policy. I'm very concerned that you are considering destroying financial documents for Custer County. I am convinced that the finances within Custer County have many serious issues. As you know, there are a group of citizens who has investigated many financial issues within the county since the summer of 2023. The resolution of the issues we have identified have not been resolved to our satisfaction. Moreover, new issues continue to occur. Therefore, I want to go on public record requesting that absolutely all financial records listed in the records retention policy be retained and preserved from January 1st, 2011 to present. This includes all correspondence whatsoever, as well as all source documentation. I am preparing to file a complaint with the Colorado State Auditor, as well as the Colorado Attorney General, requesting an intense forensic audit be conducted on all Custer County finances to include the existence of adequate internal controls, documented policies and procedures, and adherence thereof in accordance with generally acceptable accounting principles, GAAP, as well as compliance with the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, GASB. This includes adherence to the Sarbanes Oxley Act, SOX of 2002, as well as the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, FCPA of 1977. I am of the opinion that Custer County has never complied with any of the above named agencies. Sincerely, Leonard C. Arrigo, Westcliff, citizen.
Okay, before you move on, that kind of points out one thing. Does this policy that we were proposing have a timeline on retaining those records?
Most of the financial records
I
in
didn't
this
see it.
policy are 6-year retention.
Right.
However, general ledger and journals is a 30-year retention policy. And there are some things, annual financial reports, FEMA disaster reimbursement audits, bond proceedings records, adopted budget and amendments. Those are never destroyed.
Okay, so that would be referenced in our policies. Okay,
Many of those, while not cited in this policy, are driven or tied back to the state archivists.
right. And so my point is, a statement normally is made,
Yeah.
here's what this is, also apply, blah, 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 without citing everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's something we need to polish in this or not, but I just brought it up because what the point is.
The other thing I would say is that's the minimum retention period. It's not, you have to destroy these records as of that time. Furthermore, if there were a pending complaint or any other kind of litigation, the policy makes it very clear that no matter what the period is, we retain those records for the pendency.
Right.
Complaint in any appeal period.
Okay. Got another one?
Yes. I, Joy Anderson, have several Cora records requests that remain outstanding as of April 8th, 2021. I think she means 2025.
I hope so.
am stating here publicly that regardless of the passage of the Resolution 2526 Records Retention Policy, the information requested in the outstanding Cora requests need to be preserved. Furthermore, on April 8th, 2025, I made the following Cora request: all communication, including but not limited to text messages, emails, facsimiles, letters, drawings, reports, documents, materials, and all other items or things sent by or received by Bill Kanda or any other commissioner, former or current, to anyone that pertains or relates to the Justice Center. Date range, January 2017 through April 8th, 2025. 2, all communication, including but not limited to text messages, emails, facsimiles, letters, drawings, reports, documents, materials, and all other items or things sent by or received by Custer County Commissioners and personnel, including but not limited to staff, committees, or representatives that pertains or relates to the Justice Center. Date range, January 2015 through November 23rd, 2017. Thank you, K. Joy Anderson.
We have 2 online comments.
Got 2 online ones.
The first one is Rob Klein.
Rob, you there?
Yes, sir. You guys are doing a great job for one thing. And the second thing I have is that person that was talking to you about the audit. You know, if they want the audit, are they gonna put the funds forward for the audit? Because I know an audit is pretty damn expensive, and I can't see the county satisfying one person of the county for that audit. That's that question. And the second one is on the resolution 2529. Are you guys gonna make some sort of motion? I haven't heard anything come forward yet on that.
That, we didn't have one. What we are going to wait for the input and staff the paperwork, and then we'll adopt whatever the document comes forward.
Okay, thank you very much.
Present it. Thank you, Rob.
Clarification.
Did you have? Just, okay.
The second one is Lynn Arrigo.
Lynn, you on the line?
Yes, I am. I just wanted to respond a little bit. Dan Slater said that certain financial records only needed to be retained for 6 years. I wanted to make sure that you understand that I'm asking from January 2011 all the way current, that none of them be destroyed. And then in response to the gentleman that just talked about who's going to pay for the audit, well, what I'm doing is I'm filing a complaint with the state. If the state takes the information I give them and they decide to act on it and they decide to come in and do the audit, the burden of paying for that falls on the county, and it's based upon my complaint. So that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, thanks, Lynn. Anything else?
I would say that our intention was never to destroy those records by introducing this policy.
Right.
This policy is something that we've needed for a long time.
We got to.
And we needed to have policies in place and procedures in place, controls in place, and this is one of those steps that we need to go through that we've needed for a long time, so that's it.
Okay.
Quick question on the first comment that Lucas read.
State your name.
Oh, Mark Grainer, I'm sorry. I understand Sarbanes-Oxley, but does the county do foreign business? Because the Foreign Corrupt Trade Act, that's overseas stuff, and I don't know if we do anything like that even here. And I'm just curious, because the gentleman mentioned it in his email, why would the Foreign Corrupt Trade Act be apropos to this county?
I have no idea.
More detail.
Okay.
Yes. Len's got his hand up.
This is not gonna.
This is back and forth.
This is
Bill.
back and forth.
Yeah, we're just making, we're not gonna argue
It's
it.
not your, it's not your.
Listen, I can respond to the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. I'm very
Wait a minute.
familiar with it. It does not just pertain to doing business from a foreign perspective. It mandates that any public corporation, as well as government entity, have documented adequate internal controls and policies and procedures. It applies to every public and governmental agency in the United States.
Okay, good clarification. Thanks, Lynn. We gotta move on. The only thing I had left, there were several people, citizens that are worrying about the state legislature on some of the laws that they're trying to enact. Specifically was one on taking I can't remember what the words were now, but if you don't identify or treat your children correctly, the state can come in and take them away from you. I gotta get more details on that, but I asked them to come in, and if they got an issue that they wanna discuss, we'll get it on the agenda later. Anyway, just a point, people are paying attention to the state, both the legislature and the Senate that's going on now. Anything else? Anybody? Okay, therefore I will adjourn this meeting at 10:32. Good job. Thank you, everybody.